everyone, welcome back to my J Bird. And we got another good opening for you here. The same one as the last video, but this time the yellow set up higher. And let's get down to it. I'm in white. This is called Knight's Bird, Knight's Queen, Knight's Waiting Reverse to bot 2500, game 53, and I did use the arrows. And you know what? This one's cooler yet. Forget that. I want to memorize this one. This one's much easier and much cooler. Let's go. D4, D5, knight up, F3. Now the whole purpose, I have to get, before I would, anytime I went here with my theory, well, I'm still working my theory, but I have to get one of these pawns up to start to get this opening, make sure it goes properly. But let's go on here. After F3, F6, knight over, D2. See, the knight's already reversing. And so already my whole intent is to bring this knight over here already. And you see why this has to go first to do this. Now, it could go different. It could have went like this. And then things like in the last one, the knight was up and the pawn was, yada, yada, and then was still wanting to reverse anyway. So you see, it's happening, but a little bit different now. It's happening the same way, but still a little bit different on his side, I guess. After D2, C6, E3, now that pawn goes up. G4, no problems. Into the knight's bird, E2, easy fix. Takes E2, and now you're in a knight's queen. And in this position, you're probably running 2,800. Now, my knight's queen does go up to 3,200. I drawed it. I know I got a game somewhere. I know I did it. If not, I'll make sure I get it to you because I know I played it. I remember. And I drawed it. That's the one where I told you, well, the arrows don't even come up anymore, and I played the game, and, it's like I can almost do it with no arrows. Almost. I took it pretty far with no arrows. But, But in this situation, I'm not sure because I don't know. I played it from this situation here with the pieces like this. But I believe it's at least 2,800 because the simple fact is, look, I got my opportunity chance to work my pieces under. No matter if he castles that way, it won't matter. I could still work my pieces. Remember, boom, boom, or boom, 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 boom. You see, these pieces can go. Now, I just showed you a little scenario, but let's go on with this one. After that, D6, I castle. Now, I think I made a mistake. Technically, this pawn should have went up before I did anything. I always push this pawn. You know it. Out of all those games, you see these two, this pawn, and these two pieces, or this way, the towers here. But this pawn should have been pushed, and I didn't push it. I got too excited. I castled. E5. Now he goes. I take. And that's another thing. You say, well, why take it? You like lock positions, Well, what I'm thinking is it looks like he's going to castle, but he can go like this. If I don't take it and he locks it, then if he just goes like that and castles, now I will have to perform my magic. But I castled on this side, but it still goes something like probably running the rook over here, run a knight, bring it over, run this knight, and just feed everything over this way. And while he's moving, figure out how I'm going to do it to go after his king. But I castled, and it goes like this. And my idea why I wanted to take it, because it was so easy for him to castle and go that way, and then now it just turns into this other game that, which it's no big deal. I mean, but my way of working. I'm looking for the king. After D5, takes E5, F3. Well, you say, why do that? Well, I'll show you this one right now. Instead of that, if I would have went like this first, he goes here. I have to move because I'm pinned. I can't take it. I'm going to lose my queen. Then I go here. Then he can threaten his mate. And then I just go here. And that's it. Game will continue. What's he got? What's he can do? My queen's here yet. If he jumps his knight, my queen's still here yet. And then he has to move this now. And then I can still, and then figure it out, maybe jump my knight here, yada, 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 start pushing pieces up, and then start coming out. But let's go back to where it was. I went here. He goes c5, c3, castles, e2, and there it is. Knights waiting reverse. See, in the whole tent, when I brought this up, see, now he castled. Now things could have went different. Let's pretend, all right, he goes here, I go here, and he castles. Well, now this might have went different. Then maybe I would have pushed this piece up, then just to jump the knight over here, and then figure this out if he's going to push, take. But now his king's over here, and now we're, but I go on my reverse. Now it could have went different if he castled. Okay, after e2, d6, he's threatening the mate. g3, I always like that move. Always throw the knight. I like it. d8, d1, b4, c3. Now I seen that, and I couldn't understand it. Now why would he ever come down here? He's going to come down here to go nowhere. After c3 goes c2, b1. For what? There's not enough here for anything. After b1, g6. This looks like, to me, like some kind of 1800 trying to go improve something that's not. After g6, e2, back in the knight's queen, e8. The other knight up, f3. Of course, we want our pieces. We're attacking, and when we're moving our pieces this way, and we're attacking. After f3, g3 takes. I go this way. I like this way because if for any reason I can move my stuff around and I'd have this lane open. After g3 takes, a4, a3, d4, take c4. I like this way because everything stays connected. This is always, it seems like 99% of the time this is good. And now you can still work your pieces underneath your pawns. Here again, not just because of that, I think the real whole idea, what they think, they always say, well, you should always have your pawns like that. Well, you know what the real reason is now, I think what it is. Already what my theory is all about is working your pieces under the pawns. So you see what I'm saying? So things are clarifying up here pretty well. After that, e8, d3, g4, b3, c6, threaten d5. What's he going to do? Now, he's obviously he's getting threatened. The knight's going to, and now look at this. d5 takes d5, a6. He's in a losing position. After a6, b2, takes f2. Now he's just going bananas. Takes f2. I don't see it. I don't get it. All right, so you're going to get a pawn. You're going to get out with your knight. You wanted to save your knight, but you lose a knight anyway. Takes e3, but you get pawns with it. d4, I'm threatening checkmate right now. All right, after that, f6, I go e1. Now you say, well, why don't you just go down here right away and trade? Nah. What was that? He goes, I go, he goes, take. How can he get a check? Oh, he's, spaghetti-o. Check and you lose your queen. You can't do that. Spaghetti-o. After f6, e1, c5, take c5, check g4, g1. That's why you got to look. Everything ain't always easy. After g1, f8. That's why with the arrows, it's a guideline to help me. Well, that would have been a perfect guideline right there to see that I can't do that. Look at my options, say, oh, I can't do that. I'm going to get spaghetti though. But and I did use the arrows. But if I don't use the arrows, I play games like this and I lose because I make a stupid move. I get too excited thinking and you never see those games that I lose. And they're awesome games, just like this game, except I blunder. I make a mistake. After F8, D1, C6, E7, I'm having fun. You know what? I could have took that. Look at all the pieces I got. I could have took that and just had fun running around going. No, I wanted to do more. And I did blunder a piece in this game too because I'm trying to have too much fun. After C6, E7, takes B6, D4, D8. Look at this. I mean, nope, I can't because of the knight. I was almost thinking that knight wasn't there. You can go here. Well, if he takes it, I take it. If he takes it here, I'll take it with him with a check. You see what I'm saying? You can have fun, but that knight's there. So we couldn't have no fun. After D8, takes B7, F7, C6, A5, E8 check, G7, C5, E5, takes E5, takes E5. We're going to have some fun. D7, check, E1, H2, no big deal. He's only got 2 pieces on the whole board to use. H6, and here I blundered. I was thinking of something else, and I got, spaghetti-doed. I wanted to go back here, check, and have some fun. If he didn't take it, let's say he goes up here, well, he looks like he's going to lose his rook. And he's got to check. Instead, I went this way. he went there. And I went, I did take his rook. I'm sorry. I did take his rook on this one. Let me see where I did take it. F7, E2, and then I went like this. Now, I could have went check here. Then, if he would have walked here, then I could have said check here and had fun. Or if he would have went over here, it's like, then the rook would have been there. Then I could have said check here because he was here and the rook's here. You see what I mean? I could have had all kinds of fun, but I went this way. E3, takes E3. I was thinking of things and I was thought the wrong way. I actually thought backwards. I should have went this way and I could have had more fun, but I didn't. After F6, G5. Well, I did go for the fun. But after H7, takes H7, and that's game. But that's actually a hard one to figure out. But I like the other way where I ran the bishop this way and did it and played him and just do it that way. But that's the way the game went. And you see, it's so easy for me to say something and talk it wrong and make a mistake because I'm going over the game. I'm not in the game. One. And when I get serious and I'm playing, now this is just another variation. And my whole intent the whole time was it didn't matter about anything else, but I should have put this up here before that. I messed that up. That's a mistake there. Because it would have saved me a lot more trouble. And I had to, like I said, I didn't have to go that way. I could have stayed there and let him do his thing and be down here. I showed you that one. But the game goes on like this, and my whole intent was to get that knight over there and reversed anyhow. But, now if he would have castled that way, now I might have changed things. I might have pushed up the pawn, then to bring it back, and then the pieces run the other way, and the pawns go up. But the game goes on like this. He didn't want to, I mean, this is pretty heavy. This is 2,500. This is pretty heavy. Right now, this I got it going up to 2,900, but and there you have it. Thanks for stopping by, and we're going to have some more of this opening.